Hey guys, what is up? This is David with the Audible Lighthouse episode 3. We got a lot of fun information on this one. The first portion is just an introduction where me and Rue are kind of tossing conversation back and forth, talking about things we want to talk about, like the importance of having an open mind while learning and the importance of variability with movement and what is the best Star Wars movie. And then the last part of the episode is the Ask a Trainer portion, where you guys send in questions and then we answer it in a long form on the podcast. This week we talk about exercising post-pregnancy and things you should be looking out for. And we also talk about whether or not the food pyramid is still relevant. And then we talk about running, because one of our clients had a question of whether or not running is bad, or if it is bad, why is it bad? And so we talked a little bit about that and situations that it might be bad for people. So make sure you stick around, and if you have a specific question that you're looking forward to, you can always look in the timestamps below and jump to that question. Other thing to look out for, I don't know if I already said this, but Rue's mic was super janky and it wasn't working appropriately. So unfortunately, you can't hear Rue as well as you can hear me. In the future episodes, we will do our best to keep this from happening. But yeah. Have a good one. Remember to eat light, move right, and sleep tight, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, favorite Indiana Jones movie.
Indiana Jones movie. Come on.
Are you freaking? Was that a serious answer?
What?
Do you not take Indiana Jones seriously?
No. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Which one's that? Just kidding. That's the false one, right?
It's where they go for the Ark.
Last Crusade. Sean Connery.
That's fair. All right.
The Crusaders of the Lost Ark is pretty fire, though. I like the scene where the dude's like swinging his sword around.
Oh yeah.
And he busts out the pistol and just caps him.
Caps him. Indy's
Caps him
always
in the
strapped.
face. Indy is always... No, he's not. He never has anything that he needs when he needs it. That's why he's so fun to watch. Just like Han Solo. Real talk, though, Solo was the best Star Wars movie.
It was great.
Go back and rewatch it.
It was really good.
The
At the same time, Rogue One was really good.
Rogue One was pretty freaking legit, but really depressing.
Very. The ending, so very sad, and it makes me not want to watch it again.
Yeah, I like, if you watch the ending of Solo, like, it still has that drama and, like, sadness at the end of it, but it also, like, is a defining character moment. Like,
Yeah.
it just is so quintessential Star Wars.
But
like,
the Vader scene at the end of Rogue One,
that's pretty savage.
I feel like that's the only time Vader in movie form has ever been, like, boss.
Yeah, Vader sucks. In live action, Vader was booty cheeks the whole time. I think his joints were getting rusted. We were talking about the importance of active listening. And this week, I kind of went down a similar rabbit trail and thought about the open mind and the importance of having an open mind while learning. Because I was thinking about, like, people who have been in the industry for a long time and how they can kind of, like, get comfortable and feel like they know everything, and then they end up, like, totally behind the rest of the industry because they feel like they had already had it down. And especially in today's age when, like, information is just so accessible and there's so much out there. Like, I feel like you can really benefit from having an open mind, but it can also really
tough.
hurt you.
I think especially, like, there is so much information, but there's also more false information than we ever was in the past.
Yeah.
That
Because false information wouldn't have made tons and tons of rounds like it does now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my boss always says like, you want an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out. I feel like that's what a lot of people do. Like they just anything they see, they're like, dude, did you see that? That's crazy. Check out this iFunny post. I'm like, it's freaking iFunny, man. Not the news. It's not the news on iFunny.
All right. Getting violent about an app.
Drives me crazy. But yeah, I think, I don't know, what drives you crazy about people not seeking out knowledge? Or like, let's say you're going in the field of business. What's like a scenario where you could see having an open mind really benefiting somebody? And what's a scenario where having an open mind could really bite them in the butt?
I don't know if it directly applies, but the first thing I think of is kind of what we were talking about before, just like new management strategies, focusing more on your employees and their happiness than the bottom line and profits. That takes an open mind for a lot of people, especially I would probably say an older generation. That being said, if I guess you take it too far and you're accommodating your employees way too much, then you're going to be taking costs that you don't need, that aren't benefiting you in the long run. So I guess there's a balance there, definitely. That's probably a tough one.
Yeah, well said. Because I think when it's kind of like looking at the world through rose-tinted glasses, at least that's like what a lot of people in the business industry would say. They'd be like, no, it's all about optimization and just cutting costs as much as possible. But I think there was a lot to helping employees stick around and learn new skills and giving them opportunities, because that's what's benefited me the most, and that's what's kept me around at businesses, is when they give me opportunities to grow into it, as opposed to just be stagnant and stuck and miserable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Where were you going?
It was a little side tangent from what you specifically said about optimizing and efficiency.
Yeah.
I have a professor who, so he's a supply chain professor, and he's talking about kind of a new theory that people are kind of going with, that you actually shouldn't be optimizing, like making yourself 100% efficient. Because as we saw with COVID, we were so efficient that we didn't have any like excess to rely on to be able to bounce back from the problems that arise. So there's no variability, there's no adapting when you're so efficient. So he talks about, you want to be efficient, but you don't want to be as efficient as possible, which is a little bit of a tangent. It's not exactly.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
Speaking of variability and efficiency, when it comes to efficiency of movement, variability is very critical. And like, variability is something that I really, really stake my, what's the saying? Like, I put my vote behind it, stake my claim on. I don't know. But I really, really am all about variability and just doing as much as you can do. And there's like a lot of benefits to training that way and finding all these like new fun techniques, and not like getting stuck in one lane, because when you get stuck in one lane, you'll get really strong and really good at it, which if that's what you're training for, then that's great. But if you're just training for like general health and you train squats all the time, you get really strong at squats, but you get really weak at a lot of other things.
So I think first you should talk about what exactly you mean by variability.
Variability, so like just different modalities of training. So like a kettlebell, a barbell, a dumbbell, those are like very obvious modalities, but you have like suspension training, you have like BOSU balls and balance training, agility training. You can do different types like yoga or climbing or I'm trying to think, clubbing, not like clubbing like in a dance club, but like these crazy weighted clubs that you can use in rotational patterns and stuff. And I saw one on my Facebook feed last night. I don't know if it's because we were talking about like functional training, but it's like a rope attached to like a 15-pound ball. And you just like swing it and yeet it all over the place. And I'm like, I really, really wanted one. And I went to look at it and it was like $300. And I'm like, dude, I'm just going to build this myself. I'm just going to tie a rope to my 15-pound kettlebell. Boom.
There you go.
Problem solved. But it needs to be durable and like also semi-soft so that if you whip it into the back of your leg, you don't destroy yourself. So, but anyways, yeah, variability is just different methods of training and throwing different stuff at your body. And I think like you don't want to just bounce all around all the time because then you'll never get good.
There's kind of a short-term variability and a long-term.
Yeah.
Whereas short-term would be you have your different groups you're doing throughout a week.
Yeah.
On rotation, and then long term is you're going I can't remember. You do 6 weeks usually.
Like 12 to
weeks?
4. Yeah, so anywhere between those depends on the person.
So you have your routine for 12 weeks, 4 weeks, anywhere in that area.
Yeah.
And then the next time, then you completely change all of that, kind of a long term variability.
Yeah. I think for the most part, like especially early on, it's 4-4-4. Like we're just changing rep ranges. We're not. And maybe I'll change the type of training a little bit, but then I'd say like every 12 weeks is when I change like the actual method of training from like cabled resistance and bands to like kettlebells. And really, I mean, in a training program here, if they're with me, then I'm doing bands, bodyweight, and bells. And then I might do some like heavy barbell training for a while and then go back to bands, bodyweight, bells, and then throw some suspension in every once in a while. And then, like I said last week, I'm always throwing different balance stuff in now, which has been really fun since we got the BOSU ball in, which is like half of it is solid, and then the other half is a ball. And you can do all sorts of like fun balance stuff. Even my young patients want it. Clients, not patients, sorry, have those side of things. But they were like standing on it, and we were throwing balls back and forth, and it's fun. It's like a little fun way to end the workout.
Almost a game, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, and for my older clients, that's like huge right now because they'll
the balance.
Yeah, I mean the balance in general, but also just having fun. Like they're just having a blast when they're in here, and always so thankful because like they're not getting a lot of fun outside of here right now. So I've been looking for more and more ways to make it like kind of gamey and interesting. But yeah, I think besides just variability is good and not really explaining it, like variability is excellent for injury prevention because when you're out in the real world, there's a lot of different things that can happen to you. You get shoved around, you got to catch yourself, you got to make a quick lateral movement, and if you've never done any lateral quick movements, then your body's not going to know what's happening and totally get wrecked. Now, not always is that the case, but if you train it, you'll have a much better chance of surviving that lateral shove to the side. Right? Surviving, like making it to the next day without a knee injury. But yeah, so as much, I guess that makes sense, right? Like the more you do things in your training, the more likely you are to, when it hits you in the real world, not get hurt, or in athletics, not get hurt. So. Variability is huge from an aspect of injury prevention. Also, like if you're in a repetitive motion like golfing, something I do with my golfers at Gonstead that like immediately makes a huge difference is I just have them take the bands and swing it in the other direction over and over again when they're done with golfing because it kind of sets them back in the other way so they don't build up all these weird...
Like kind of lopsided muscles?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be lopsided. Because then when they go to work and it's like a manual labor job, then the one side's all ripped and strong and the other side sucks and they hurt their back. And repetitive movements like that, they get hurt a lot, like swimming and even track. Like track on twice a week, I would run the other way around the track just because people constantly impacting one side when they're making the left turn over and over again. So in practice, if you can run the other side around, it helps you out. Which I talked about some of this stuff in my injury prevention videos, but it's just good to throw it back out though.
Yeah.
And then also, I think it's just really fun. Like, you went climbing yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm
again.
definitely getting into that.
Yeah, you're getting way into it.
I love it.
Yeah. He did good. He got another one. Not like one, but like a grade up. No, one up.
I almost
Which is
got
cool. You almost got it too.
I almost got it too.
Which was sick.
Very close.
And I figured out my problem 4. And worked some 5s. But nobody's going to know what we're talking about. Like, what are they ranking? But
isn't one the best?
yeah, so it was super fun. And when it's fun, it's not boring. So you're more likely to want to come back and do it more. It's like a game.
That
like
was
you
always
said.
my thought with sports. Like, I always felt like there should be maybe not one day a week, but kind of thrown in there, just a fun day of another sport or another type of exercise to kind of break the monotony of your practice and kind of get a different kind of competitiveness out of your athletes.
Yeah.
I always felt because I saw the track team.
Yeah.
They would play freaking anything on a Friday or I think it was a Friday.
Fun day, man.
Yeah.
I carried that tradition on. My dad was a track coach when we was in high school. And my dad actually, I think this was I don't think he was aware of the benefits of it necessarily. But, I mean, he was to some degree. But, we'd play soccer and dodgeball and stuff. And it was funny because I was reading, a blog post later on. And it was about injury prevention for track athletes. And it was hey, on one day a week, you guys should just play a game and kind of get out of the monotony of single line movement and a little more lateral sport movement like soccer or dodgeball, basically exactly what he was doing for injury prevention. I'm like, what? My dad's a G. And like you said, it was just always a blast. Track was always one of the most fun sports all the time, not just in the game. Basketball, football, super fun in the moment because you're specializing in becoming legit at one certain thing, and the sport itself is just fun. But track, the sport itself isn't necessarily fun. So the more fun you can make it in other ways rather than just competing is cool. Yeah, I was always excited for track season. And then lastly, when it comes to variability, I feel like it just allows for boast of consistency. So when you get in a new thing like climbing, you want to go every day, right? So you went from exercising maybe 4 times a week, and now you're going 7 times a week because you just want to do it over and over again. And those boasts of new learning and consistency also get you really good gains early on that transfer into other aspects of your training. So when I first started kettlebelling, I had already been climbing for a while, so I already had good grip for the dynamic movements. And then when I got more into kettlebelling, my vertical and my dynos got a lot better in climbing. So things kind of naturally feed off of each other, if that makes sense. So it gives you quick gains, and part of that's because you get the newbie gains, the neurogenic effects for your brain. Whenever you try new things, you get these you get neurogenic effect, just this guy Jim Quick. I listened to a little bit. You should check him out on YouTube. But he talks a lot about that, and one of the first challenges for his brain growth program basically is to try and learn how to juggle. So I've been goofing around with that, and I feel like it's maybe made me a little more accurate when I do jump and grab onto stuff when I'm climbing and all that. So it's you can see it kind of, the lines cross over. So I encourage people to go do all sorts of fun. Yeah.
Just get out there.
Yeah. That's all it takes.
Find what you like. Try something new.
So what's your newfound love? I mean, we kind of talked about it a bunch.
Climbing. I do want to get into
Yeah.
I really do. It sucks that it's like an hour away from where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hoping, if possible, once a week, but probably more like once every 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just it's kind of what I took from running. Like, you just compete with yourself.
Yeah.
And try to get new records, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because that's what kept me going with running for a while, was just like always trying to beat my time.
Mm-hmm.
Not every single run, but usually at least once a week I would try to beat my time.
Yeah. Which I really like want people, like my clients, to experience that. Because when I discovered that, like with kettlebelling and with climbing, like I had done it in the past, but I didn't realize I was doing it. Like, competing with yourself is the healthiest form of competition. Like, when you stop comparing yourself to others and just to your previous self, and it's like constant self-improvement, and it's motivating, and it's fun. Like you said, like every time you beat the old time, you get like a huge burst of motivation and like dopamine.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. My newfound love is probably the rings and the suspension trainers that I got last week in the shipment. So I had some new equipment at the gym, and one of them was the rings, and I've just been like all day long goofing off with them, and also kind of combining them with some other movements, like the knees over toes guy is somebody I've followed for a little bit, and he's like really got some awesome knee protocols that I really enjoy. It's been a little bit tough getting into them, so I was kind of using the rings to lower down into some of the more difficult positions, and then coming out of it and just kind of moving through like full range of motion with a little bit of resistance, but then helping myself out when I couldn't finish with the rings, which was pretty cool. So different than I thought I'd use them, but I still, even for like the traditional purpose, like doing dips with them and stuff, was crazy. Like, my chest was on fire afterwards. So the rings will be something that I'll be definitely getting into.
Yeah, they're
next
fun.
time you see me, I might be a gymnast. Just kidding. Never. I can never be a gymnast. So amazing. Plus my shoulders are trash. So yeah, anything new in the last week and a half? A week and 2 days?
I mean, I'm still here.
Yes, you are.
Alive and breathing.
Yeah. You got the research position, right?
They haven't announced that yet.
It's not confirmed, but but he got it. Let's be real, right?
As long as the proposal is approved.
Yeah, I think you got it. But you also
competition.
didn't get last place, brother.
Woo!
Talk about that.
So I had to do a presentation for a case study competition. Basically comparing 3 different suppliers for a manufacturer, comparing the costs, and give a decision for short-term and long-term, and just kind of the costs associated to both, the pros and cons. But yeah, we got 4th. I think we deserved 3rd, but at least 3rd. But
yeah,
that's how it goes.
you kind of
Of course, the university that hosted it got 1st place, but just saying.
Sounds like some controversy. Which university hosted it?
Towson.
What?
Towson?
Towson? Is that, am I saying right?
Yeah.
Towson.
I think that's how you say it. I don't know.
We're coming for you, Towson. You're trash.
No, it was good.
It was cool, dude.
They did do a really good job. It was just
Yeah. Of course they did. They came up with the competition. So they were probably prepping for 6 months before the competition was even released to the public. It was toads. Just kidding. That's fun. Oh my goodness. So I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and somebody posted the like calories burned after a workout. And I've been seeing that like a ton, and it kind of made me laugh a little bit because it was like, holy crap, that's amazing that they burned that many calories. But it's also like, did they? And then it's also like, what am I thinking? Like, we kind of talked about it in the last podcast about how burning calories is not a sustainable way to lose weight. Yeah. Most of the people doing it are trying to lose weight, and I just feel like it just reinforces the fact that that's a huge misconception in fitness, is that you can burn calories, eat bad, still lose weight as long as you're in a calorie deficit. And in reality, it's like the adaptations being caused by that exercise, it's just that your metabolism is eventually going to slow down, not necessarily speed up
what you're doing
to the workload. Yeah. Unless it's like you're building muscle, like it's 470 calories burned from resistance training for an hour and a half or something. But yeah, I mean the like classic like running in place and jumping jacks and all that stuff isn't going to build muscle. It's just going to burn a little bit of fat, but eventually that fat's going to creep back on if you don't do some resistance training and build up some muscle. So I want to encourage people, and the fact that people are like super into exercising is exciting, and like you can still look at it to be like, holy crap, I worked out for an hour, I was this active, my heart rate got this high. Like that stuff's still fun to look at. But I think it's important that people realize that what they're doing might not be the best option as far as losing weight and getting stronger and getting fitter. Running in place isn't going to get them there. Right. So that is my little 2 cents, my little rant about the Facebook post.
That makes sense. Plus, I mean, how accurate are these that measure?
Yeah, I mean, mine literally last week told me I burnt 4,800 in one day.
Do you feel like you burned that much that day? Do you feel like?
I mean, I was really tired. Like I needed more food that day, but 4,800 just seems like, it says 4,200 almost every single day, and we've talked about, but I've metabolically adjusted, so it's almost definitely not burning that much. I think my body adjusted to that workload, so now it's probably closer to like what I consume, which is like 2,300 maybe, or 2,500, not 4,200. So I've been increasing calories to kind of kickstart my metabolism and like get out of that adjusted state so that the workload actually pays off. But it's been a journey getting there. I'm actually going to look into getting metabolic testing done, and then maybe I'll do like a little edited video and throw it in one of the podcasts and stuff about it. I think that'd be cool. But and maybe like a body fat percentage.
Do they do that?
Like a legitimate test video. Yeah, they do like waddle displacement or something like. What's the test? What's point? I can't remember the test off the top of my head.
Is that right?
Shoot, what is it? I don't know. Anyways, they have you get in waddle, and basically that tells them what they need to know, and then they have you get in waddle again. And they compare it. I don't know how it works. That's why I want to go do it.
It's magic.
I literally read about it. I read about it in this book. Where is it? It's like the most accurate way. Oh, my personal trainer's manual. It's like the most accurate way to get your body fat tested. And then I saw my bodybuilder, not friend, but acquaintance. He was getting it done. I'm like, I kind of want to do it just to see like where I'm actually at, because I feel like this thing's way off. So
yeah, I mean, I had mentioned that last time, but yeah, I feel like even mine's just like matches.
It's just another formula, not actual like scientific
reading.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's what's new. With that being said, let's get into Ask a Trainer. the Ask a Trainer portion is we take questions from my clients that I had throughout the week, and we answer it in like a longer form here on the podcast. And Rue kind of gives his regular Joe who lost 60 pounds input, and then I provide my professional opinion. Cool. So the first one is, why are carbs bad, but also why are they important? And that's definitely a misconception. Carbs are not bad, first off. There are tons of different kinds of carbs, and there are bad versions. I mean, those bad carbs and good carbs. Just like those bad like fats and good fats.
Everything, moderation.
Yeah.
Everything in life you could ever even talk about.
Just balance.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I'd say carbs are important because they're your primary energy source, like your instant energy source that you use when you go to have any kind of output or work. So if you're going to exercise a ton, it's helpful to have carbs in your body because it will fuel you and make you feel stronger on your workout and perform better. So if you're doing something really high intensity, you probably want to eat a little bit more carbs beforehand. We also talked a little bit about eating carbs late at night because that basically keeps your metabolism running so that it doesn't really slow down. And then when you wake up, you eat and you keep it going, basically.
Out of curiosity, if you were going to do that, what would you eat? Because if you say carbs broad,
yeah,
right,
people are going to
it sounds like, I'm going to stuff some pasta down
crap.
my face and have that.
I'd say like a natural form of carb, like something that's not going to wire you like a fruit. Fruit has sugar in it, so I don't know if I'd necessarily want to do sugar. Yeah. I might just like, and I'm not saying like right before bed, wolf down 2 cups of rice either. I'm just saying like when you go to eat your last meal of the day or your last snack, have like more carbs with that than you would at like lunch. But ultimately, you want to put carbs around your workout. So if you're gonna work out that day, you should have carbs, like 20% of your carbs right around that time. And then I like having some in the morning because then I feel more energized for my work shift. Or if you work late, you should have a little bit before that work shift. And then also doing it before I go to bed. So with my dinner, I usually stack up a little bit. And it's not like simple sugars or bad carbs. It's just like normal rice, potatoes. In the morning, I'll do fruit. Before my workout, I'll do like rice cakes, peanut butter, and banana. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, carbs are not bad. And fats are not bad either. But they're all bad fats and they're all bad carbs. Bad carbs are sugars, and that is the main one. Yeah. And bad fats are trans fats. Trans fats really, really mess people up. And we will actually, I think I was talking to your mom about that actually. She was talking about a study they did. And don't quote me on this, maybe like look it up if you're actually interested, but they took the indigenous people who ate well blubber, like they ate well blubber to get ready for their
winter
icy life.
Oh.
So it kept them warm throughout the day, and so they would just eat fat all the time and hunt wells. And they wanted to do research on these people and figure out like if any fat would do the same thing. So they gave them like big buckets of Crisco. These people are just eating Crisco and then going out though, and like they saw having tons of heart disease and heart attacks and like literally dying, eating tons of Crisco. And yeah, that basically backs up the idea that trans fats might not be good for people, which the industry knew about for 40 years, and they still know about, and they still throw it in everything. So you just definitely, if you're eating processed foods, first off, why? Second off, avoid the trans fats. Yeah, because they're in most processed foods.
Also, if like going by low-fat options when you're at the store, not always ideal because you have to look at the ingredients.
Yeah.
Because some low-fat, how they get around that is they add a ton of sugar to make it palatable.
Yeah.
And I mean that's worse than having the fat. Sugar's a killer.
The number one ingredient I look at when I'm like buying stuff at the store is like if I look at the back and it has a bunch of sugar, that's a huge turn off. I put it back on the shelf. And the other thing is if I go look at the ingredients list and it's like really, really long, I just put it back too. And that's a pretty simple rule to live by. Those like more complicated ones you want to avoid too, like that bothers my wife, like salt and preservatives and sucralose and things like that, but it just depends. Yeah. Coolio. The other question was the importance of exercise pre and post pregnancy. Also, real quick, that person who asked the carbs question also has somebody in their family with diabetes, so I think that's where that misconception came from, because carbs do drastically impact their life, so they're pretty scared of it, but they also understand the importance, which is typical for that. So the importance of exercise pre and post pregnancy was kind of what they were asking about. Other than like you're a human, so exercise is important. Right. You're also carrying a human, so staying healthy is also really important. And pregnancy wreaks tons of havoc on your body, and especially on your core. Core is one of the primary issues that I see with moms during and after pregnancy. And also hips usually get jacked up in one way or another. Not usually, just what I've seen in my personal experience, their hips get messed with a lot. So like maintaining a little bit of flexibility afterwards and a little bit beforehand, but more importantly, stability in like the pelvic floor and the abductors and adductors and then the core. So, and then the other thing to look out for with any ladies who have had babies is diastasis recti. Diastasis recti is basically the rectus abdominis right in the middle here. It's like your six-pack, and it can, as you grow, it slowly pulls that six-pack apart, and it either stretches that out, the linea alba in the middle, the connective ligaments, and it either stretches it out or it completely tears it, and then it's completely separated. And when you put any stress on that muscle, it's worse for the condition, not better. So the way to help heal that and make you able to do more things and have more fun and get back to exercises like planks and push-ups and maybe even crunches someday is by strengthening the deep abdominals, like the transverse abdominis. And it impacts a lot of ladies, so look out for it, ask your doctor about it, and don't shy away from all exercise. Get back into it, strengthen the deep abdominals, don't wear like belts while you're squatting and stuff. Use your actual human belt that's inside of you and contract that, and that will hopefully get you back to functioning and kicking butt, taking names, and grabbing children, and doing dishes, and going back to work, and all that good stuff.
All right.
Edit that out. No, I was thinking of one specific mom who had difficulty doing dishes. I was not throwing all moms into. I just was talking from my personal experience.
Oh, okay. Because it sounded like you were just saying, get back to doing dishes.
Yeah, not what I was saying at all. And I immediately regretted it because of the current climate. Yeah. We have 20 views, but we'll still get canceled. When we have 40 views next year, they'll find us. Yeah. And they'll go back searching.
Actually, no, 10 years from now, no matter what we're doing, someone's going to find it, and then we'll get destroyed.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. That's how it works. Like, oh my gosh, when you were 24, you said that some women could do dishes. Now that they strengthen their core.
We should probably change the topic.
Whatever, dude. It's freaking annoying. So, next question. What is a balanced diet, and does the food pyramid even apply? To be honest, like, the food pyramid was around when I was like in 6th grade, I think, and then they switched to My Plate. So I can't remember the food pyramid at all. Probably should have done a little bit of
grains,
additional research prior. Yeah, they sold it at like...
I think it was like grains.
Like, they were really specific. Like, it was...
Vegetables.
Yeah.
Fruit, protein, sugar. Something like that.
Yeah. And dairy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, dairy was in there.
I don't remember. Shows how much I paid attention in elementary.
Mm-hmm. And I would say no, the food pyramid does not apply. I think food... One of the main things to understand about food is every single person takes food differently. Every single person probably should have their own customized macros and calories that they're intaking based on their previous relationship to food, and also just where they're at metabolically, and what's their problem foods, what's their good foods, what do they respond to, what do they not like. Some people can't eat any grains because it wrecks their stomach, so obviously the food pyramid wouldn't apply to them. So no, I think the food pyramid's kind of trash, if I'm being honest. As a personal trainer, I'm supposed to give people My Plate and just like access to the government's website that's like myplate.gov, and it shows like a balanced meal and like a balanced meal estimator. Also, I'm not actually building meal plans. I have a software that builds meal plans based on people's goals and what they're trying to accomplish. So basically all I'm doing is getting down to the root of like what they're trying to do and what works for them, and then just putting all that information into a computer, and then the computer has like 4,000 or 2,500 different meal plans to choose from, and it picks the best one based on what we entered. So that is currently what I'm doing. But most people don't even do the meal plans. They just make small life changes, and that leads to big changes down the road. So that is what I do for food. But the general public food pyramid doesn't probably apply.
I honestly, like you said before, I don't know if it's even really around.
No, it's
I feel like everybody our age and older are the ones that even remember it or knew about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they switched to My Plate that I'm talking about. They switched to that when I was like in high school. So, yeah, it doesn't totally apply. Don't agree with it for the most part. It's a little outdated. Why even have sugar on the thing? Like fruits maybe, but sugar should probably just be out. We're all addicted to it, so.
Yeah. And we have such a crazy amount in so many things.
Somebody who listened to the podcast, we talked a little bit about it on the last one, and they asked why running is a bad exercise to do on the regular. So I'm going to test your knowledge, Rue.
Every time.
You were there for this.
Every time.
What do you think the answer is? Or why would you say this? Because you actually did it, and I'm just curious what your personal...
the repetitiveness and the impact on your joints. I mean, it kind of depends how often you're going, how hard you're pushing yourself, if you're overdoing it.
Yeah.
That's mainly what I remember. It's probably not enough.
What were you talking about earlier with like focusing on burning calories?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're saying if that's solely what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. The calorie deficit. You're burning the calories, but you're not getting your metabolism, and you're kind of eventually gonna level out, and your body's gonna adjust to. If you're regularly running, like the same amount, your body's gonna adjust to it, and you're not gonna lose weight. You're gonna plateau.
And just
In
like
the long
anything
run,
else,
you're
I
gonna-
think it totally depends on the person too and what their goals are.
Yeah.
And like running isn't necessarily a bad exercise in general. Like running is fun. Running is like something that we do pretty regularly when we're young, especially, and in sports. So like if you're going to be doing any sports, you probably want to run.
I still think it's a great thing to do with all the other workouts. Not as often. Actually, I never went crazy with it when I was losing weight. I just overdid it the 1 week I went back. But I still think it's great to do with my workouts. Like once or twice a week, go for a good run.
Yeah, I think it is for you because you enjoy it and you're not beating yourself up too much. I mean, it can be a bad option too because there's some people aren't in a place where they should be or can be running without doing actual damage to them. Yeah. So I think this is also an issue is people like, they run when they're kids and they stop running and then they're like, all right, I'm going to run again. And they start running and their body is not ready to run at all. A lot of people have jacked up hip flexors and dysfunctional cores and bad ankles and they're messed up from sitting too long throughout the day. So when they go to run, it's actually a really complicated multi-joint movement and it's totally wrecking their body the whole time. So
the first time I went for a run, like before I even started losing weight, I went for a jog. Granted, it was while I was like right before I went to physical therapy, so my back was really messed up. But I literally we did, what did we do? I think it was a total of 2 miles. And all I could do was like jog for like 30 seconds and then walk. And then by like the 1 mile mark, I was in so much pain. Like, I mean, my knees hurt, but my back was in so much pain. Like, it hurt more to walk than to full sprint. But then like my cardio was so horrible that like I was like dying from full sprint, and I literally just wanted to like fall on the ground and die because I was in so much pain.
Call somebody like, come pick me up, please.
But I'm stubborn and I would not do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a kind of perfect example. So, yeah, if you want to run, just do your due diligence. Like maybe check in with somebody who knows some things, like a physical therapist or personal trainer or me, and make sure your joints are working appropriately and make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Like if that brings you joy, then I want you to get back to running. But if you're like coming at it from a perspective of like, hey, I used to be skinny and I used to run, so I want to get skinny again, then you probably just need a little bit of education, and you need to do resistance training like we keep talking about. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Cool. Coolio. You got any questions? Any comments? Any challenges? Anything?
Well, your challenge just ended, didn't it?
Yes, on tomorrow.
No, tomorrow, sorry.
Tomorrow we are testing. People are excited. And then I'll be sending stickers out, and we'll be ramping up for the next one.
Do you have your next one in mind?
So we might actually do like a weight loss body recomposition challenge for the summer.
Summer bod.
So obviously not everybody can get into that one because some people are already ripped out of their minds. But the other one I'm going to run that's like more functional, just like the Iron Cold Challenge and working on a weak point, is the Wake Your Butt Up Challenge. So got a lot of sleepy booties.
Bones.
Yeah. Tons of sleepy booties. We got fun cues in there, like imagine that you're trying to pinch $100 bill in between your butt cheeks and you don't want to let go. All sorts of stuff.
Bobbing for apples with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you'd be amazed though how many people literally cannot connect their brain to their butt at all. Like those no connection now. And part of that is because the hip flexors have gotten so dang tight from sitting like this that the butt has shut off because it's in a constant stretch position. So if you got flat butt and you got sleepy butt, you can rebuild your connection to your butt with the Wake Your Butt Up challenge, and it will pay off in the long run because we'll build it up to a point where you have a mind-muscle connection, and then when you get back into exercising, you won't be so quad dominant and your butt will actually engage in activity, and then you can grow your butt like you've always wanted to. So
I've always.
Yeah.
It sucks having to wear a belt all the time. It's nice to just, put some pants on.
Yeah, have like a little tray for your drinks and stuff.
What?
All right. On that note, that is pretty much it. The gym, we got new equipment, like I said. So if you haven't been in a while, come check it out. It's been fun. And what else? I think that's it. Hope you guys pulled away a little bit. Hope you drew some knowledge from this podcast and that you enjoyed it. And if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have questions for next week's, what should they do?
They should email you at trainerdavid.
Close. trainerdavidllf@gmail.com. You work on your active listening, man.
Oh, come on. What's my email?
RAJC
Okay,
underscore.
They can contact me in other places. They don't need my email.
Took me a little bit. The other thing, what's the other thing?
The other thing is,
you guys should comment on what some of your favorite new movements are. If you've been doing more variable movements and like trying new things. And if you haven't been, you should post what you're going to try. And yeah, that is it. Cool.
Comment also what you're trying to improve. Like, what were you working on again? Delts?
My real delts.
Yeah.
My sleepy real delts.
And he, not I, will give you an awesome workout.
Okay. Thanks, Rue. I'll send you a link to an exercise or two to work on that. No, I think that's great. That's a good idea. Yeah, cool. What are you working on?
Everything. Everything's weak.
Come on, I know what you're working on. You were just doing them.
Lower back.
Oh my gosh, this guy.
It is weak.
Yeah. But what were you working on? What have you been so dedicated to?
Oh, pull-ups.
Pull-ups.
Yeah.
He's been doing pull-ups. Pull-ups is a great skill for people to regain. Builds connections that you've lost for many a moon. So I encourage people to do pull-ups. Dr. Zach said we should do a pull-up challenge, and I'm like a 10-day pull-up challenge. I was like, dude, you can't frickin' do a pull-up in 10 days. And he's yeah, you can with bands. And I'm like, you can do them with bands in one day.
So technically,
the 1 day
I went from
pull-up
0
challenge
to 1. It was not 10 days, but it was 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in a month you could probably get one. Like most people could get one in a month. But in 10 days, that's pretty extreme. That'd be tough. But maybe if you're really dedicated, maybe we should try it. I don't know. Run a little science experiment. And if not, then just see how long it takes you with the same workout. So maybe Dr. Zach's idea isn't that bad. But I thought it was funny because he said the whole band thing. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Anyways.
All right.
Gosh, longest conclusion ever. See you guys. Fridays are Hawaiian Show Fridays, if you were curious.
Exactly.
So.
Is this going to release on a Friday?
No.
Or you just let them know that
I'm just letting them know.
Friday for us?
Friday for us is Hawaiian Show Friday.
Okay.
It was something that I always did at Greencastle, physical therapy, and it's something I will continue to do because I enjoy it. So, see you guys. Awkward shuffling to the phone.